So for step 20, attaching the gearbox, this is where we're really going to start seeing the bike take shape. So obviously this gearbox needs to be attached to the swing shaft, and you can see that the screw goes into here and goes into that swing shaft. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put this together first, then we'll attach the cables to the motor, and then of course we'll use the zap strap there to, clean everything up. So there are our pieces. We've got our screws, and then we've got the brass shaft right there. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So as you can see, we need to get that swing shaft into here, and then there's a screw that's going to hold that swing shaft in place. Now, in order to do that, you can see here that this is where the screw is going to go into, but obviously when you put this on, it might not be in the right place. So they're basically saying, in order to help with this, use an Allen key, put it through the hole that's in the swing shaft there, for example, and that way you can have a better chance of lining this up. Now, I'm going to see MB1. That's the one here. It's not a tapping screw. That has to fit onto there. Make sure that it's in line, which it pretty much is. So I'm going to grab the screw. Actually, I should have done that first. So let's just grab the screw. Then if I align this so that it's like that, more or less, grab the screwdriver. I see it's not going to go in. So let's just see how far that's got to go. Which actually has to go a fair bit. So let's do it this way. I want to see how far that's going to go before you even see the screw popping out, which you can see down there, which it hasn't gone through yet, but it's got to be close. So again, if we line that up, it's obviously got to go in farther. So the screw here is going to go a lot further into here because I can't see it yet. So I'm actually going to screw this in as much as I can until I start seeing it come out, because I have no way to know whether it's going to go in and grab. Can you, if you can see it down there, maybe you can't. Oh yeah, you can just see the head popping out. So I'm going to back this off now. I now know approximately where this has to go. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to make sure that the Allen key is basically holding it in line with the hole, right? So that if I use my fingers to kind of keep it level, I know that this has to slide onto here and should approximately be where I need this to be. And it is. So I have attached it. So that's helped with the alignment for sure. So knowing that, I'm now just going to flip everything over and I can screw this all the way in. And it's on. So We don't need the Allen key anymore. So there is our gearbox attached. And of course, there's our suspension. I'd forgotten about that part. Very, very cool. So this is now all attached. Awesome. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is, instead of doing the cables first, let's get the servo attached so that we can keep this gearbox straight. So you can see here, if we move this up a bit here, you can see that this collar, which you can see here, is going to go into this hole like that. So you can see just like how that is going in. You then have the tapping screw, the MB3 one, which is going to go in on this side. And it will end up attaching to, and you can see how that sits on the bottom. It's going to go into the hole on the actual gearbox, and it's going on the outer hole, so it's just like that. So we're going to attach that. Just like that. So there is our gearbox attached to the entire swing arm from the servo. Very, very cool. And you can see that from the rear. And of course it needs to, it shifted a little bit, so we'll get it a bit more level, but you kind of get the idea. Very, very cool. So what we've got left to do is connect the cables and use that zap strap to keep it tight. So for this last part, I decided to just go ahead and do it because I needed to see how this was going to work and how I wanted the cables done. So obviously they are connected here, but what I've done is this one, because this is meant for a brushless motor, I've curled it back on itself and I've left this free. So the only cables that are actually attached with the zap strap are the motor wires, leaving the battery cable wires fairly loose because I know it's going to have to come over here and the battery one is going to come over from the other side. So ultimately, the trike at this point looks just like that, which is very, very cool. Love it. Okay, so that is it for step 20, which means we're going to move on to step 21, which is working on the front fork. So now we're working on suspension on the front, the wheels, etc., and we're moving to bag C.